Hi there, my name is Aaron Short and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm looking at the Stageman 2 AC-80 acoustic amplifier from NUX. I think NUX are a great company because they make affordable gear which is really different and interesting. It's not just the same old drive pedals and electric guitar amp replacements, although they make those as well. They also make loopers and DIs and acoustic amps like this. Now, I haven't tried one of their acoustic amps before, but I did review their Stageman DI box, and you can check that review out. I'll put a link to it below in the description. But I gotta say, I'm really impressed with this. Now, they've sent this to me to check out, and I want to tell you about it because I think this amp is great. I have reviewed many amps recently, and there's some really great ones for different reasons, but this one is great because it has some unique features, and I'll show those to you today. In fact, I probably won't even have time to show you all the features in this video without it being hours long. So do check out the manual online and I'll show you some key features today. What you heard in the intro today was my acoustic guitar with the LR Baggs Anthem looped into the amp, so you don't hear the recording of the guitar in the room. You're hearing the microphone recording from the amp, so you get to hear what it might sound like in the room, although of course the only way to really experience that is to be there yourself. But hopefully that gave you a good idea of the kind of tone this amp has. You heard it through my shotgun mic, and again, you were not hearing the guitar in the room, so you weren't hearing any bleed from the guitar. For today's demo, I'll use that loop again, so you can hear what the EQ and effects sound like as I adjust them in real time. And at the end of the video, I'll grab the guitar so I can show you some other cool features that are built into this amp as well. So this amp has a 6.5-inch woofer and a 1-inch tweeter. It is rated at 80 watts. We all know that these ratings don't mean very much, so I'll give you my real-world usage with this as well. The first thing to notice is this is rechargeable, which is excellent. I love rechargeable gear because it means I can take it out and use it without having to worry about bad power or even power at all. But also, I can use it at home. I can grab it and just use it, and I love that. That's why I've been using this so much. I'll just grab it, plug in the guitar I'm testing out, and go. I haven't got to worry about plugging it in or anything, and it's got the effects and a looper all built in. This thing is an all-in-one, really fun amp. It's great. The only thing I want to mention is that when you unplug from power, the volume will drop. So I think it's 40 watts on battery power and 80 watts when plugged in. That's worth noting. Make sure that's going to be enough for you if you're planning on using this for busking or taking out and about. Make sure that's going to cover you for that. It's certainly got enough volume. When I play this in this room here, it's absolutely fine on battery power. And then when I plug in the mains cable on the back, it gets really quite loud. I'm not sure it'll be loud enough for a full-on loud, rowdy pub gig, but I don't see these amps being for that reason. I see these amps as being for a personal practice session, small casual jam session, or at a larger gig, maybe as a stage monitor. And this actually has a pole mount underneath it, so you can put it on a pole and have it at ear level. And I would probably plug it into mains and then turn the volume up quite a lot, and that will give you my stage volume. And then on the back of the unit, there's a DI out, so you can run it into the PA system. So it's very hard for me on these videos to tell you if something's loud or quiet. It's all relative to what you need, but do bear in mind on battery power, this will be 40 watts, and plug in, it'll be 80. And it's certainly loud enough for me at home. This is a great at-home option. In fact, I think this thing really shines at home for the features I'll show you next. Right, so on the top of the amp, we have two channels, channel 1 and channel 2. And I'm really happy that channel 2 has the XLR combo. That means I can use it either for a microphone on my guitar, a second pickup, or a vocal microphone. So that's really cool. They both have the same settings here. We have a gain control, the effects level, and this will be depending what effect you have set in the app. I'll show you the app shortly. Right now it's a chorus that you heard on the intro. There's a reverb control, bass, middle, treble, and also this little switch here that has normal mode, fingerstyle, or strum. So let me just show you this. I'll show you what the different modes do. The normal mode, as it says, is normal. Then the fingerstyle gives you more treble, less bass, and the strum gives you more bass, less treble. I tend to just like to use the normal mode and adjust from there, but it's nice to have these options on the fly as well. Let's take a listen to those. So this is normal. This is fingerstyle. and this is strum. So like I said, very nice to have the option to just flick a switch and get those different sounds. But let's just stay in the normal position for now, because I like to start from there myself. In fact, that's the mode I've been using the most. But yeah, like I said, really cool addition there. And let's just show each of the different parameters. So for the gain, you want to set the gain for your pickup. Now, a quick note here. People have said to me that the Anthem pickup is low output. Now, that's kind of true. The Anthem pickup is not as hot, doesn't have as much signal as some other pickups. There's other pickups that have similar output to the Anthem as well, to be fair. The Anthem SL has about 8 dB more than the Anthem, which is worth bearing in mind. I do like the Anthem, and you know what? It's never been a problem for me. It's not a problem here, but I have noticed that the gain control could have a bit more on tap on this amp to get me the most out of my pickup. If I want to get the absolute most volume from this amp, I should probably use a preamp with the Anthem just to add about another 5 dB or something, just to push this amp a bit more. So it'd be nice to see in a firmware update or a new version of this amp, a bit more gain available from the preamps in this amp. It's funny to me because I always tell people it's never a problem. Everything I use the Anthem with is absolutely fine. But I do notice on this, I could use a bit more gain from the system. Of course, you can always use an external preamp if you want to. But to be honest with you, I have not been using that with this, and it's been absolutely fine. I just noticed that I could get a bit more if I had another preamp as well. So I'll play the recording again and talk you through what I'm doing. Let's start with the effects, which right now is set to chorus. So let's check out this chorus here. That's maximum chorus. We really want chorus to be subtle, right? Unless it's a very dramatic effect. And I gotta say, that's a nice sounding chorus. I don't usually use chorus myself, but that sounds nice. All right, the reverb here again can be adjusted. That's no reverb. That's maximum reverb, which is way too much, of course. I like it around 11 o'clock. Really nice. I gotta say, this thing sounds great, especially in the room. It really does make my acoustic guitar sound incredibly natural. Let's go over here to the EQ settings. We have a bass, that's no bass, and that's max bass. So that's nice. Let's check out the mids, no mids, max mids. There's that honky undersaddle kind of harsh sound. You can dial that out a bit with this. And there's your treble, your brightness. Very, very nice sounding. Nothing here really sounds bad, does it? It all sounds nice. So that's what you got there. Then on the other channel, you've got your XLR input. Again, you can use that for miking your guitar or for your vocals. Probably going to use it for your vocals if you're singing, right? And you've got a phase control on there to put it in or out of phase, which is a nice touch. And the rest is all the same. So that's what you get on top of the unit. Now on the back of the unit, there's a lot of connections as well. You've got your power input, and the power supply does come with the unit. It is an external power supply, so do bear that in mind. You've got a USB port for firmware updates. There hasn't been one yet, but hopefully there will be some in the future. An auxiliary in. So you've got Bluetooth on the top, as you can see, the top right. And you can also have an auxiliary in as well, or. So you can connect your iPod or your phone for backing tracks, which is another great feature. I love the fact it's got the auxiliary in and a Bluetooth feature in. It's got a send and return, so you've got effects loop if you want to add other effects to this as well. A line out and a DI out. I'm using the DI out right now, which is an XLR. So you can send this to another amp, another speaker, or front of house. You've also got 2 foot switch controls, and it comes with the foot switch. I'll put that on the screen. It's a really well made metal foot switch, and that's really cool they include it, and the cable to connect it as well. You know what? I couldn't find it in the box. It's kind of hidden when you get this in the box, but it is there, and you can connect it, and you can either have it to control the effects or the reverb and the effects on channel 1, or it can control the loop and the drum machine. I've been using it for that. I guess you could get another one, have 2 foot switches. This thing is really quite feature packed. I like that. But the way to unlock the other features here is to use the app. So go on the iPhone or Android App Store and download the Stageman NUX app onto your device. I'll put it on the screen now and show you what other features you get when you install the app. This is really quite cool. So I love this hybrid approach where you never have to install the app if you don't want to. But if you do want to, you can go in and do deep tweaking and then Once you've done that, you can forget about it again and just use the controls on top of the amp. I think this is such a cool approach, and I'm glad that NUX did this. So let's take a closer look here. This is a very interesting app. The first thing you'll see is IR. Now, this is the same interface as the NUX Optima Air, which I've reviewed on the channel. You should check that review out if you haven't seen it already. So this is an acoustic impulse response, and you can actually load these into the amp. I think this is the killer feature. This is a feature that other companies are not looking at right now, and I think NUX should do more with this, because you can select any of these preloaded IRs here from the list that you can see. And when you've done that, you've got a high cut, a low cut on the IR, a level, and you can even see the IR's EQ curve, which I really like. And then of course, you can also use the controls on top of the amp to shape that sound. Now there's no blend control here, but I do think these IRs sound really good. The one thing I would love to see in a future update is the ability to take those IRs we've created with the Optima Air and load them into this amp. Can you imagine if you got the Optima Air and made an impulse response of your acoustic guitar, which is always the best way to do this, loaded it into this amp, and you just pick up the amp and go. Pick up your guitar, your amp, show up at the gig, DI the front of the house, and your IR is with you. I actually honestly can't believe they haven't put this in here, because what a cool thing that would be, and I hope to see that in a future version. But I've got to say, these IRs sound really good too, and I'll give you a quick demo of that in a second. Next we have effects. So this is where you can deep edit your effects and change your effects. You can see channel 1 and channel 2, effects and reverb on each one. So if I click on reverb, I can actually now change the mix, the damp and the decay settings, whereas on the amp, I've just got a one knob control. Again, you don't have to touch this, but if you really know what settings you want, you can change it. You can also change the type. So that reverb I had at the demo was quite intense, wasn't it? Well, you could change that to a room, a plate, or a spring. From the hall setting that I had before. So that's really cool. And then tweak it as well. And then still have the control on the amp to change the overall setting. If we look at the effects, this is cool too. So you heard that chorus, which sounded really nice, didn't it? That was called SCF. But we also have stereo chorus, CE1, CE2, analog delay, tape echo, digital delay, mod delay, reverb, room, hall, plate, and spring. So you can sub that chorus out for any of these effects. So if you don't like chorus, then just choose the digital delay. Now you have repeat, mix, and time settings for the digital delay instead of a chorus. And you can still turn that on and off from the control on top of the amp. Really, really great. This is so cool. Now, next option here is a drum machine. If you watch my channel, you know I love drum machines and metronomes because it helps me improve my timing, which is a very important thing. So on here, you can set the tempo and the master volume of the drum machine, and you can even tap in the tempo here. Look, as I tap, it's changing. Do you see that? And you can have metronome, percussion, pop, reggae, cajon, rumba, funk, Latin, slow soul, shuffle. So there's not a ton of drum beats here. There's enough to practice and write to, but I'd like to see more available on the App Store, even as a paid purchase maybe, I don't know. But if they added a bunch more rhythms here, it could be really cool too. But I love that they've included these ones. And don't forget, you've got Bluetooth here, so you could just send a drum loop from your phone to the Bluetooth on the amp as well. So let's take a listen to this. This is the metronome. That's just a click we can practice to. Here's percussion. I love playing acoustic to percussion more than I do a full drum set, so that's nice. Pop. So it's quite heavy, right? It's more like a band. I always think I want bass with that as well. But maybe you have a bass player with you, so that'd be cool. Reggae. Cajon. That's nice. So that's everything. I'd love to see more. The shuffle's quite nice. I'd love to see more. I'd also love to see just a 4 to the floor kick drum. I use that all the time with acoustic. But you know what? Even just having the metronome here is so useful to practice your timing to. So again, it sounds like this. And you can tap the tempo as well. And it follows the tap. So if you've got a practice session, you can just tap it in, hit play, and practice. It'll come through the amp, which is really nice. Okay, then the looper. Again, this is built in. The looper is built into the device. And you've got level, record, stop, clear, and undo. If you connect the 2-button foot switch that is included, you have basically one button which will start and stop the rhythm, and the other button will start and stop your loop. So it's only kind of a 1-button looper, which I prefer a 2-button looper for performance, but just as a practice and songwriting tool, it's really great. And what I notice is, whatever I play the loop to, whatever tempo I set with the loop, the drums will follow. And that's really cool too. So they kind of sync up. I like that. Finally, we've got settings, where you can reset the settings and everything, check the firmware. So this is nice. This is a very nice looking app, and it's very stable, and it's got everything you want and nothing you don't want. Like I said, there's a few things they could add to make it even better, but I think it's great. The combination of the fact the amp just sounds great as it is and is well made, has great features, and then the app just to go in there and tweak things. I love that combination. I think it's really killer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the guitar and we're just going to try out the IRs to finish with. I want to just show you what these IRs sound like. Like I said, I love the option to import my own IRs and purchase or add more drum beats. So NUX, if you're listening, please do that. But congratulations on a great product. I'm a big fan of a lot of the NUX products, and this is one of my favorites actually. I'm going to be using this a lot. This is probably the amp I'll keep in this studio here just to grab and test out pickups or jam or create new ideas, because it's always there, it's always ready to go. And I think that is the key component with gear. You can just make music and practice with it with no thought whatsoever. And that's why this is a really great option. There's millions of other options of acoustic amps on the market. I've had a lot on my channel already, and I'm sure I'll have more, but this one is really cool. If you can find it, I suggest you check it out. So let's grab the acoustic, let's turn off the microphone and just have our basic under saddle sound, and let's see how we can make it sound with this IR option in the app here. Okay, so I'm plugged straight into the amp. I'm going to mute this microphone and just play what I did before. So this is the Anthem's mic at 100%, so it should sound pretty darn good, pretty natural, because it's a real microphone in the guitar. And if I turn that mic off, it sounds like this. Now do wear headphones for this part because you want to really hear the differences. So you can clearly hear that's an under saddle pickup. Doesn't sound too bad, but doesn't have the body and airiness of the microphone. So let's try this IR and see what we think of this. This is a HD28 piezo. So here's the guitar without the IR, just the raw pickup. And here's the IR. That's really great. You know, I said on the NUX Optima Air review that I did, they do the IRs really well. At least in headphones, direct, that sounds excellent. It sounds really natural. And I'm actually quite surprised because these IRs usually sound the best when you make the IR from your own guitar. But even these stock IRs sound really good. So you can just grab your guitar with your basic undersaddle pickup, plug into this, and have some really good tones out of the box. Of course, there's a chance this may even sound better than the ones you create yourself. I don't know. Again, I'd love that option to import my own, but this one actually sounds really good. Let's compare this to the mic in the guitar and see which one you prefer. Let me know in the comments below. I'll play it straight through, then with the mic at maximum, and then with the mic off and the IR replacing the mic. Let's see what we think of that. So here it is straight through with no microphone. Here's microphone 100%. Here's just the pickup and the IR. It sounds excellent. Let me just try the microphone and the IR as well. It gets a bit muddy with both, in my opinion. You know, I still love the Anthem. I still love this pickup because it works so well live, and the overall tone for me just works, especially if I add EQ as well. Notice I haven't really played with the EQ. It's pretty much flat. So I still think it's worth me having it in the guitar, but I gotta say the IRs here on the app sound excellent. Just that one sounds excellent. And I would go through each one and find the one that works the best for your guitar. I'm not saying it's a guarantee to work in a loud bar, because you might get problems with feedback with the IR. That's always the danger with IRs. You're going to get more potential for feedback. The great thing about the Anthem is I don't tend to get much feedback at loud volume. It can happen, but it's a great compromise between a natural cutting tone and a useful stage tool. That's why I like the Anthem. But I gotta say, NUX are doing a great job with their IRs. They really are. So check out my review of the Optima Air. Check out this amp. And like I said, that is the killer feature. There's some other amps on the market that are maybe slightly more expensive than this one with similar features, loopers and Bluetooth, but none of them so far have put a IR loader into them, at least none that I've seen. There may be a couple, but none of the mainstream ones, none of the big name brands yet have the IR loader. And I think that's where this thing is really cool. That's why I like it so much. And the other features too, the looper, the drum machine, the look, the quality of the build, everything about this thing is really cool. I really like this amp if you didn't notice already. It really is cool. And then the overall actual acoustic sound of the speaker is excellent. You've got to hear it for yourself, but it does really sound good. I should just say, of course, there's a million different guitars and pickups and your mileage may vary, but the few guitars I've run through it all sound really good, really natural, and really fun and inspiring to play. So yeah, I'm actually kind of blown away by that IR. It sounded really good. And I haven't even touched the EQ on the amp itself. So I hope you enjoyed this demo. Like I said, I haven't gone into every aspect of the amp, but for more information, do reach out to NUX or check out their website. Try to check out this amp in person if you can. And if you do, please let me know in the description below what you think of it. And if you own one, tell me how you like it. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. I have more reviews and videos like this very soon. And until next time, take care and be well, and I'll see you in a future video. Bye-bye.